What is a trust and why would I need one? A trust is a way to own something, and it's an arrangement for the management and eventual distribution of a person's property in line with their goals and intentions. Within that definition is a myriad of different types of trusts with various purposes. What makes it so confusing is that there are literally dozens of types of trusts. The most common one that we'll discuss today is characterized as a revocable living trust because you can amend it or revoke it during your lifetime, and usually you are in charge of the property just as you were before you created the trust. So think of a trust as a box where you put all your belongings. While you're living, you can take out whatever belongings you want, which is why it's called a living trust. And because it's revocable, you can change your mind and take things out of the trust or add things to it whenever you want. When you die, the trust knows exactly what you want to do with your belongings and ensures the right people get them, even though you're not there to take them out yourself. A trust beneficiary is a person who is designated to receive the benefits of property owned by someone else. So, why would you want or need a trust? The classic lawyer response, of course, is that it depends. The long answer is almost always some combination of the following reasons: privacy, efficiency, flexibility, control, centralized responsibility, and accountability. Revocable trusts allow for consolidated administration in situations where there are minor beneficiaries, multiple beneficiaries, second marriages, real estate holdings in multiple states, charitable giving, or other more complex situations. Revocable trusts are often the most effective estate planning option. The first reason why people tend to want revocable living trusts is to avoid probate. They want private and prompt administration. When fully funded, trusts avoid the probate court entirely. As we explained in the last video, a will is merely a set of instructions for the court to follow in overseeing the distribution of a person's estate. A trust appoints a trustee to oversee the distribution of assets, removing the need for the court to be involved in most cases. Everything in the trust is completely private, unlike probate. The second most common reason is to transfer wealth to children or grandchildren or any minor beneficiary. In the state of Michigan, a minor can only manage up to $10,000 unless that money is in a specialized custodial account specifically for the benefit of the minor. A trust allows you to support these minors' needs without distributing the cash outright to them. Often, clients choose what I call ages and stages for the outright distribution to these beneficiaries, which we'll discuss in a later video. This is exactly why I personally have a trust. I love my children, but they are simply not responsible or capable enough to handle any significant money. And even if they were over 18, I would want further management and a say in how that money is spent. With my revocable living trust, I can dictate who manages the property, the trustee, and guide them in the same values that are important to me. Another very common situation where you're going to need a trust is if you have any special needs or spendthrift concerns. Sometimes controlling the way in which an inheritance is received is very important because the beneficiary may be on government benefits or they may need financial oversight. Maybe they have a substance abuse disorder or mental health issues. A special needs trust allows a beneficiary to continue to receive that needs-based assistance because the property in the trust is not counted as their individual income or assets. Another really common situation that we have is blended families. A frequent concern for blended families is ensuring that their assets are available to their surviving spouse, yet not disinheriting children from prior relationships. A trust can accomplish both goals. They can ensure that the surviving spouse and the deceased spouse's children are provided for. Trusts are very helpful in the management of unique assets. Small businesses, vacation homes, caring for pets or firearms, and commercial real estate are all examples of assets that are not neatly or easily divided among heirs. Holding these types of assets in separate trusts can also insulate the owner from liability and create a framework that allows the trustee to manage these assets for the benefit of others without having to liquidate them. And finally, charitable giving and tax planning. Trusts can provide income and estate tax benefits And for those with estate tax liability, a trust can be useful to reduce that tax exposure. So those are the benefits, but what are the drawbacks of a trust? Well, the primary drawback tends to be the cost because the complexity varies. There's no rule, of course, that requires an attorney draft a trust for you. However, how do you know when you're doing it wrong? You generally only find out if there's a mistake or an error when it's too late. Trusts are highly customized documents designed to fit a grantor's specific goals for their beneficiaries. It's next to impossible for an automated system to create a similar document that an estate planning attorney can design with an in-person meeting. Many automated services are designed with a one-size-fits-all approach. So let's talk about trust funding. Your heirs will still have to go through probate if your trust is not fully funded. So one tip here is to make sure that as you acquire new assets, you work with an estate planning attorney to ensure that they're funded to your trust. In summary, there are many reasons why a trust would make sense for you. Most people, regardless of the size of their estate, can benefit from trust planning to address and achieve distribution for their family legacy or their tax goals. For these reasons, the vast majority of my clients do go with revocable living trusts. Trusts are not one size fits all, and each document should be tailored to a client's individual needs.